Welcome everybody to Rainier Books. My name is Rainer. I'm a German booktuber living in Sweden, talking about books that are written in English or translated into that language. And today it is time for another segment in my beloved. Today it is time for another episode in my beloved segment, I've Read Something. And this time it is a non-fiction book. I'm going to give you a review and some more information about Jessica Bruder's book, Nomadland, Surviving America in the 21st Century. Let's get started. On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. I love my life playing music with my friends. Well, I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, that's of course a song that many of you know. And who doesn't like to be on the road? Make a trip, have some great food, see some great sights, meet some great people, and then it's always beautiful to come home. If your home is not your car, your RV, the truck, or whatever you are, the van, or whatever you're living to. This is reality for tens of thousands of Americans. I don't know, and Jessica Bruder doesn't know how many of them there are out there, but after 2008, it's a growing number of Americans that is living in their vans, in their trucks, in their RVs. They don't regard themselves as homeless, they regard themselves as houseless. And Jessica Bruder came into that business. She's a journalist and she is writing articles usually, and she did an article for Harper's Magazine I think 5 or 6 years ago when she dived into that scene of van dwellers traveling and working across America. And when Harper's Magazine got the article and they published it, her boss said to her, "This should be a book." And so Jessica Bruder started out again on the road again to meet the van dwellers, to meet the people, to talk to the people, to describe their lives. She was sort of embedded, and she has delivered a great work, which is so important because homelessness or houselessness or whatever you might call it, the most important thing in our lives is a roof above our heads, right? And everyone should have a right to this. We have a roof, most of us have a roof in a house and an apartment. We own this, we rent this, but many people, they don't have money anymore, especially in the American economy. And I think it's also coming to Europe very slowly. But in America, many people, especially if you go to the West Coast, for example, or to the East Coast, where the rents are exploding, and some other cities inside the land as well. Rents are exploding and people work 2 jobs, but they can't afford. They have to cut the highest cost that they have every month, and that is the rent. And this book shows how people live in their vans. Like Linda May, she is if you want the main real character in this book, she was actually approached by Jessica Bruder somewhere in the desert, I think in Arizona, out on a campsite, and she had the same dog that Jessica has at home, some kind of cocker spaniel, I think. And so Jessica went to Linda and said, "Can I pet the dog?" And then a relationship started, the relationship between the protagonist of this book and the author. The author has done a lot of things. First, she tried to describe the life of the van dwellers from the outside. And then she sort of thought, I have to sleep in a van, actually. I have to get a van and sleep inside a car to be really able to tell what it is like and also to feel what these people feel. To have the same fears that somebody knocks at night on your window and you don't know, is it a cop? Is it someone with bad intentions? Or is it someone else? You don't know. And you live in fear. You always have to find a place to stand. You have to find a camping site where it costs money. You have to find toilets. You have to find showers. You have to find food. And in some American towns, the Walmart chain, in a lot of American towns, it is allowed to sleep in your van at the Walmart on the parking lot of the Walmart. And there are websites about it on the internet where you can find Walmarts that are accessible to that and Walmarts that are not. There are lots of websites on the net where you get hints and tips and advices for van dwellers. And one of those sites is RVliving.com. I put a link down below. This is a website that was started by a man who came into economic problems after the economic crisis of 2008, and since then, more or less, he has lived in a van. And Bob has become sort of a leader of the tribe of the van dwellers in the United States. And like most van dwellers, he is white and he is 60 plus. These are two characteristics of this tribe that is traveling across the US. So why are they traveling? Because they work. Very often they have seasonal, low wages work, like Amazon, for example, the great company with the A, the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, is behind that. Amazon, whenever there's a season when they sell a lot of stuff, they need additional workforce. And then they go out on the internet, on their website, and they put up ads like this that they want to add to their camper workforce. And dear friends in America and Canada, if you want to test the life as a van dweller, you can look for a job here, part-time or full-time, at Amazon. They have stores in, I think, 3 or 4 different states, like in Kentucky, for example, in Campbellsville, Kentucky, where you can look for a job and they give you, for low rent, you can park your RV on a camping site and live there with other van dwellers and go to the factory, work for 12 hours on the floor. You walk like 10, 12 miles each and every day. And these people are not young, you know. They are 60 plus. They are older than I am, most of them, a lot older. And there are still people in their 70s and early 80s who work. And that's also something that unites them, their fear of what happens when I'm not longer able to drive my car, when I'm not longer able to go to North Dakota, link down below, to work in the beet harvest, in the sugar beet harvest once a year, when I'm no longer able to go to national reserves, national parks in the US and California to work as a camping host. There are lots of jobs for van dwellers. I have put a link down below to 3 books that actually give you advice about living in a van, how you do it, and where you can look for jobs. But back to Nomadland, because this wonderful, hardly felt written book with a lot of empathy, with a lot of poetry, I would say, in describing the landscape and describing the people. This wonderful book, as you probably all know, has become a motion picture in 2021. Jessica Bruder's nonfiction book was picked up by Hollywood, was picked up by Frances McDormand, the actress's company. She bought the script, she bought the rights to do a film about it, and they changed a couple of things. They added a character which became the main character that Frances McDormand plays. She plays Fran in that film. But Linda May, the main figure of this book, is also in the movie. She was also nominated as Best Actress, so Best Supporting Actress for an Academy Award. And the movie, as you know, got 2 major Oscars, Best Film of 2021 and also Best Actress of 2021. For the 3rd time, Frances McDormand won an Oscar, very well deserved so. And I think this is so important to bring this topic of this tribe that consists of tens of thousands of hard-working Americans. These are people that have worked all their lives. They have worked for 35 and 40 years and still they cannot afford to retire. They have to work on and on and on till one day they're going to fall, they're going to die in their cars, in their vans, or wherever. This is so heartbreaking, I think, on the one hand, but also the resilience. There's a lot of resilience and there's a lot of helpfulness. There's also something that is described in the book, how these people help each other. I mean, many of those tribe members who travel from the beet harvest in North Dakota to the Amazon warehouse in Kentucky, they know each other, they help each other when they have problems, and there's a great community among them. But of course, some of them probably would like to live their life in a different way, but they can't afford it. Some of them might even have started liking their way of life and don't want to go back. You don't know. Linda may actually, her big dream is to build an earth house that is, she's trying to build that in New Mexico, which doesn't, in Arizona first, outside Douglas, Arizona, but it doesn't work. And there's an interview in the links down below with Linda from, I think, February or March of 2021, where we have some checkup with her, what she's doing right now. Right now, and that is March 2021, she was trying to settle down again in New Mexico after some years on the road. But let me also read a little bit from that book. After all, millions of Americans are wrestling with the impossibility of a traditional middle-class existence. In homes across the country, kitchen tables are strewn with unpaid bills. Lights burn late into the night. The same calculations get performed again and again, over and over, through exhaustion and sometimes tears. Wages minus grocery receipts, minus medical bills, minus credit card debt, minus utility fees, minus student loan and car payments, minus the biggest expense of all, rent. In the widening gap between credits and debits hangs a question. What parts of this life are you willing to give up so you can keep on living? Most who face this dilemma will not end up dwelling in vehicles. Those who do are analogous to what biologists call an indicator species, sensitive organisms with the capacity to signal much larger shifts in an ecosystem. Like the nomads, millions of Americans are being forced to change their lives, even if the transformations are less outwardly radical. There are many ways to parse the challenge of survival. This month, will you skip meals, go to the ER instead of your doctor? Postpone the credit card bills, hoping they won't go to collections? Put off paying electric and gas charges, hoping the light and heat will stay on? Let the interest accumulate on student and car loans, hoping someday you'll find a way to catch up? These indignities underscore a larger question. When do impossible choices start to tear people and a society apart? It's already happening. The cost of the unmanageable household math that's keeping people up at night is no secret. The top 1% now makes 81 times what those in the bottom half do when you compare average earnings. For American adults on the lower half of the income ladder, some 170 million of them, earnings haven't changed since the 1970s. This is not a wage gap, it's a chasm. And the cost of that growing divide is paid by everyone. Nomadland by Jessica Bruder was published in 2017 by W.W. Norton in the United States. Read it. It's important. It's a topic. It's a growing number of people that is living as nomads. And it's about not only this tribe, but also about a country and a world that is divided more and more. All I had to say. Thank you very much for watching this, and I hope that you read or have read Nomadland or have seen the movie. If you have done so, please write a comment down below what you think. And as always, I hope that you stay tuned to my channel and that you stay safe, first of all. Bye-bye.